think a big one for us is trust, and the fact that the fraud problem hasn't really been solved in online payments. A big reason people come to Stripe is basically we are a reputation network across the internet economy. And so when someone comes and buys something from a Stripe user, 93% of the time, we have seen that card before. And so the merchant can know something and know that they can trust this end user. And it's gotten to the stage now where if someone comes along and buys with a credit card, if they're, signing up with an email address or a phone number or something that we haven't seen before, that is just ipso facto suspicious because, they are coming along and maybe trying to, it's a stolen credit card or something like that. And so a big part of what Stripe ends up doing is acting as a reputation network to keep fraud out of the system that maybe you would have wanted to design in from day one.
Well, in fairness, Chamath told me I could use that credit card anytime I wanted. I don't think he remembered, but I think you need to turn my account back on. And Friedberg, I just got news from our CEO, John. MasterCard just canceled their sponsorship of All In Summit. So this is costing us a fortune, this podcast so far.
Two things. One, to your point about just all these different networks and so forth, I think stablecoins are going to be a big part of the solution. I actually don't think that's going to supplant all the consumer-facing networks. I think we're going to see consumer-facing networks built upon and that substantially leverage these things. But I think stablecoins will probably be the common rail. And then just secondly, I think part of what you're hearing is most businesses lose more money to fraud than they do to the kind of pure transaction cost themselves. And you're hearing us talk a lot about fraud here, and that's because one, it's a huge economic cost for these businesses today. And there's even indirect costs where you make the consumer experience more hostile because you have to protect against, possible fraud. Like, why do you have to type in all these numbers when you transact?
Locked out of my bank account? Yeah.
All this stuff, exactly. But then secondly, I think we can just see it in the data. These fraud problems are actually getting worse and harder because, ML, AI, globalization,
all the deep fake
everything.
Stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And so various fraud metrics across the industry and the ecosystem are way up over the last couple of years. Now, on Stripe, actually down by 80%.